Tempera painting is an ancient art form. It's been around for thousands of years. The technique uses egg yolk as a binder. This binder holds pigments together. The result is a durable and vibrant paint. Tempera has a unique look. It dries quickly, the colors are bright and clear. They don't change much over time. This makes tempera paintings last for centuries. Many old masterpieces we see in museums are tempera works. The paint is applied in thin layers. Artists build up color slowly. This creates depth and detail. Tempera allows for very fine brushwork. You can see every stroke clearly. It's perfect for detailed religious icons and portraits. Tempera was the main painting medium for centuries. It was used all over Europe. Artists in Egypt and Asia used it too. Today, some artists still use tempera. They value its unique qualities. Tempera has a special place in art history. It's a link to our artistic past. Making tempera paint is like cooking. You need the right ingredients. The main one is egg yolk. It acts as the binder. Next, you add pigment to the yolk. You mix them together to create paint. Water thins the paint. This makes it easier to apply. Getting the balance right takes practice. It's part science, part art. Mixing tempera with pigments is a delicate process. Each pigment behaves differently. Some mix easily with egg yolk, others need more work. The artist must know their materials well. They learn through experience. Every color has its own personality. Tempera paint dries quickly. This affects how you mix colors. You can't blend on the painting surface. All mixing must be done beforehand. Artists prepare a palette of colors. They use these to build up their image. Layer by layer, the painting comes to life. Some pigments are stronger than others. They can overpower weaker colors. Artists must balance this. They use thin layers of paint. This lets them control the intensity. Light colors go on first, dark colors come later. This builds depth in the painting. White is important in tempera painting. It's often made from chalk or lead. Artists use it to lighten other colors. They also use it for highlights. Pure white areas stand out. They catch the eye. Mastering white is key to tempera technique. It brings light into the painting. Tempera was the main paint for centuries. Oil paint came later. It became popular in the Renaissance, but tempera had advantages. It dried fast. This was good for working in layers. You could paint over areas quickly. Oil took days to dry. Tempera is stable. The colors don't change much over time. Oil paint can yellow or darken. Tempera paintings from 600 years ago still look fresh. This durability was important. Paintings were meant to last for generations. Tempera met this need well. The egg yolk in tempera is water resistant. This protects the paint. It's less likely to be damaged by damp. Oil paint can crack in humid conditions. Tempera is more flexible. It moves with the wood panel it's painted on. This prevents cracking. Tempera has limitations too. It's hard to blend on the surface. Oil paint allows for soft edges. Tempera edges are often sharp. This gives tempera a distinctive look. Some artists preferred this clarity, others found it limiting. The choice between tempera and oil was personal. It depended on the artist's style and goals. Section 5. Canvas, wood and beyond. Tempera's versatile surfaces. Tempera paint works on many surfaces. Wood panels were most common. Artists used poplar or oak. They prepared the wood carefully. First, they smoothed it, then they applied layers of gesso. Gesso is a white ground. It creates a smooth surface for painting. Wall paintings also used tempera. This is called fresco secco. The paint goes on dry plaster. It's different from true fresco. In true fresco, pigments mix with wet plaster. Tempera frescoes are more delicate, but they allow for more detail. Some artists use parchment or vellum. These are made from animal skin. They're very smooth. Tempera adheres well to them. Manuscript illuminations often use tempera. The bright colors stand out on the pale surface. Canvas became popular later. It was cheaper than wood. It was also lighter. Tempera can be used on canvas, but it's trickier. The fabric must be prepared well, otherwise the paint may crack. Some modern artists experiment with tempera on canvas. They like the challenge. It creates unique textures. Section 6. Ancient origins, the birth of tempera painting. Tempera painting is ancient. Its exact origins are lost in time. We know it was used in Egypt. Mummy portraits from 2,000 years ago used tempera. These paintings are still vibrant today. They show tempera's durability. The Greeks and Romans used tempera too. They painted wooden panels. These were often portraits. Some survived in dry climates. They give us a glimpse of ancient faces. The technique was similar to later European methods. In medieval Europe, tempera flourished. It was the main medium for panel paintings. Artists refined the technique. They created detailed altarpieces. These told religious stories. Tempera's clear colors suited this purpose well. The earliest recipes for tempera vary. Some used whole egg, others used just the yolk. Milk was sometimes used instead of egg. The basic principle was the same. A protein binder held the pigments. This created a stable paint. The art of tempera evolved over centuries. Each culture added its own touch. Section 7, Nature's Palette, Pigments in Tempera Art. Pigments give tempera its color. In the past, these came from nature. Earth colors were common. These include ochres and umbers. They're made from clay and minerals. Artists ground them into fine powder. This powder mixed with egg yolk to make paint. Blue was precious. It often came from lapis lazuli. This stone was more valuable than gold. It came from Afghanistan. Cheaper blues used azurite. This is a copper mineral. Green came from malachite. It's another copper mineral. These blues and greens were vivid. Red had many sources. Cinnabar was bright but toxic. It's mercury sulfide. Safer reds came from insects. Cochineal beetles made a deep red. Plant roots gave madder red. Yellow came from plants too. Saffron was expensive but beautiful. Lead tin yellow was man-made. It was bright and stable. White was important. It came from lead or chalk. Black was from charcoal or soot. Artists knew each pigment's properties. Some were opaque, others were transparent. Mixing pigments was an art. It took skill to create the right colors. The choice of pigments affected the painting's look and cost. Section 8, Masters of the Medium, celebrated tempera artists. Many great artists used tempera. In Italy, Fra Angelico was a master. He painted religious scenes. His colors are still bright today. Botticelli used tempera too. His Birth of Venus is famous. It shows tempera's ability to create dreamy scenes. In Northern Europe, Jan van Eyck worked in tempera. He mixed it with oil paint. This created a new look. His Arnolfini portrait is a landmark. It shows incredible detail. You can see each hair and thread. Tempera made this possible. Andrew Wyeth used tempera in the 20th century. He liked its crisp look. His painting Christina's World is well known. It shows a woman in a field. The dry grass is perfect for tempera. Every blade is clear and sharp. Contemporary artists still use tempera. Koos Schadler is one example. She combines old techniques with modern subjects. Her work is highly detailed. It shows tempera's enduring appeal. These artists keep an ancient tradition alive. They show that tempera still has a place in modern art. Section 9, Patrons and Subjects, the commissioning of tempera works. Tempera paintings were often commissioned. In medieval times, the church was a major patron. They ordered altarpieces and frescoes. These told Bible stories. They decorated churches and cathedrals. The bright colors of tempera suited this purpose. They caught the eye of worshippers. Wealthy families also commissioned paintings. Portraits were popular. These showed the family status. Sometimes they included symbols of wealth. Tempera's ability to show fine detail was perfect for this. Every jewel and fabric could be clearly seen. Civic buildings had tempera paintings too. These might show historical events, or they could be allegorical. They taught moral lessons. The clear narrative style of tempera worked well here. Stories could be told in a series of scenes. As trade grew, merchants became patrons. They commissioned paintings for their homes. Subjects became more varied. Landscapes and still lifes appeared. Tempera's luminous quality suited these subjects. It could capture the light on fruits or distant hills. The art reflected the changing world of its patrons. Section 10, Tempera's Enduring Legacy, a reflection on its impact. Tempera painting shaped art history. It was the main medium for centuries. Many masterpieces we admire are tempera works. These paintings have lasted for hundreds of years. They show us how people lived and thought long ago. The technique influenced later art forms. Oil painting built on tempera methods. The careful layering of color continued. Even modern acrylic paints owe something to tempera. Its quick-drying nature is similar. Artists today still learn from tempera techniques. Tempera has a unique look. It's crisp and clear. Colors stay true over time. This makes tempera work special in museums. They give us a direct link to the past. We can see colors as the artist intended. This is rare in old paintings. The legacy of tempera is not just in old works. Some artists still use it today. They value its qualities. Tempera allows for precise detail. It has a luminous quality that's hard to match. In a world of digital art, tempera offers something different. It connects us to centuries of artistic tradition. Tempera remains a living art form, bridging past and present.